LCSC students of social and political philosophy, what say you that we try to deal with some of the syllabus stuff through a video and maybe clear up some time in class for interaction, right? And maybe for questions. So, the syllabus, you go to the course homepage on Canvas and you click on syllabus, and lo and behold, things materialize. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but I guess I'll go over a few things about it that maybe you should know so that we're all on the same page, right? Class meets Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon on Zoom. It's a virtual remote course. We're going to be on Zoom 100% of the time. Interactive, right? Interactive. Cameras on, microphones on, smiling faces, right? That's how it's going to be. The first part of it is my contact information. Um, Professor Eric Martin, I like the formalities of the student professor relationship. I know here at LCSC, that's not always the case. Each professor has a different protocol for that. I'd appreciate it if you would follow mine, and you might check in with your other professors before you kind of start calling with on their first name. Some of them don't mind, and some of them like it a little more formal. Email wise, use the Canvas function for the inbox. I check that all the time. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. LCSC has got my lcsc.edu account so secure for viruses or whatever. A lot of y'all's emails get lost, so use the email that box. That's my phone number to the office. You will almost always have to leave a message unless you know I'm in there. That's the bad news. The good news is the messages go straight to my cell phone. All right, so I'll get your message. My office is in 315 Spalding Hall. My Zoom office is 617-792-2281. And office hours, either way, cool with me. Notice that the Zoom office is different than our classroom space. And then office hours, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 10:30 to 11:30, and all kinds of other times. I know it says by appointment. It makes it look like I'm not around a lot. If I'm sitting in front of my computer, I probably have my Zoom office up. You're always welcome to pop in and check, just like knocking on someone's door. If I'm available, I'll open it up, and if I'm not, I'm going to move on. All right. Our course, Social and Political Philosophy. It's a big course, and in part of the class, right, is just really kind of figuring out what it is. But it's a survey of political and social thought from the ancient world to the present. We're going to be talking about issues like what is human nature and how can you prove it? And that's the second part of almost every question we'll deal with. How do you justify the state? What is liberty? What is a right? What is democracy? How does it work? What kind of economic system should we have? All that kind of good stuff. And we're going to be doing that in part by talking about what we think, but mostly by talking about what a lot of classic political philosophers think. So let's take a look at where some of these discussions and debates and theories and all that get their origins from, right? So you're going to need this book, Political Thought. Still trying to figure out the new camera right away. I don't assume you know anything about this. I really only assume that you're have finished English 102 so that you're able to do the writing that we need to, and that you've probably done the social science portion of your core. If you haven't, that's probably okay, but be best. What else do we have here? Purpose and goals. Like I said, I'm not going to read through this whole thing. I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit. But the big thing is, for me personally, is that this course, I hope, will help you get an idea about some of the foundations of some of the different political positions, maybe show you how old some of the political debates are, and maybe give you some perspective in terms of why someone might think differently than you. But more importantly than anything, what I want you to get out of this class is how to have a respectful discussion with someone who sees the world differently than you, and have that discussion actually based on data and evidence. That takes practice, right? So anyway, in the process, you'll be able to think better about social phenomena. You're going to have a better sense of how some of these social science theories work, how business theories work, how psychology theories work, how historical theories work, all that kind of stuff. You're going to be better at evaluating evidence. You're going to be better at utilizing evidence. You're going to have some kind of knowledge about social thought, all that kind of stuff. And you're going to have a better idea about what your major is all about, no matter what your major is. And I'll get to that in a minute. So the required readings, they're right here. It's Rosen and Wolf, The Reader, Political Thought. Get a hold of it as soon as you can. I'm still trying to get the angle on this. It's a super fun reader. I think it's a super fun reader. And we'll talk a little bit about exactly how we're going to use it, but you need it right away. Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, this link here will take you to all kinds of entries for either the authors or the discussions in this book. Example, you get a document to read for next week by John Locke. You got no idea who John Locke is. It might make the document a lot easier to read if you looked him up in the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. It's like, oh, this is kind of what he's about. Oh, now I understand, right? Context. The optional readings are exactly that. They are optional. They are just different readings I've used at different points when I've taught the class, and I didn't want to forget about them, so I put them down here in the optional readings. But that's just if you're interested in learning some more. Grading and evaluation, the stuff you guys are probably the most interested in. What's your grade based on? Something like 25% of your grades based on class participation. It's so important to engage. It is so important to engage. So you're going to lead weekly document discussions. You're going to participate in weekly document discussions. I will show you how to do it. It is a skill. It is an employable skill, but it's not necessarily, to participate in the discussion, but it is not necessarily one that comes naturally for people. So I'll help you with that, right? So class discussion, show up to class, be ready to participate, be prepared to be called on, and we can work something out so you don't have a panic attack over it if you're one of those folks. And we can work something out so you don't get your feelings hurt when I tell you, hey man, we've heard from you like 10 times today. We don't need to hear anymore. We all know the deal, right? We've got people on both ends of the, whatever it is, the folks who like to talk and folks who you got to pry words out of. We want everyone to talk and feel comfortable with it, right? Okay. In addition to that, you got 6 comparative document essays, somewhere between 2 and 4 pages each, and 1 formal essay of about 6 to 8 pages, right? We'll talk about those as we go. Class participation, we'll talk about this in class, but you guys read over this. But the point is, I'm not looking for you to be right. I'm looking for you to put a good faith effort that you tried to understand the John Locke document. And these are the things you got out of it. These are the things you struggled with. These are the things you think we need to talk about. So I'm looking for good faith efforts. You engaged your brain with the readings. Okay? I'm not looking for you understood them perfectly, because that's probably not going to happen in every case. So I've got like sort of 7 things here. We'll go through those. Just kind of, this gives you an idea that, like, if you don't know what to do, make sure you kind of know who the person is and the context. Look at the years. That can help you a lot. Sort of, what are their main points? What did you think about the evidence they presented? Did they present any evidence? How does it connect to some of the other readings we've done? What would you like to know more about? All right, and then just work on that. I expect you to have written notes on the readings, right? That'll make the discussion part easier. Written notes. I really don't want to ask you guys to see the written notes or to grade you on the written notes, but if it comes down to it, I might. All right, I reserve that right. But you guys take notes while you read. You ought to be taking notes while you read, so you come to class and you have things all squared away. All right. Half the grade on your thought pieces. The thought pieces, I'll show you one in just a minute. Comparative document essay based on assigned reading material focused on a particular question, utilizing particular documents. Utilizing particular documents, right? So, and this is the stuff lawyers do. Here's the question, here are the documents, this is my argument. That's what you guys will be doing. Go through this part in the syllabus with the comparative documents. Formal essay. We've got one formal essay, 1,500 to 2,000 words, worth 25% of your overall grade. Based on the following question. I'm giving you your final exam question right now on the first day of class. In a paragraph of less than half a page, describe the purpose of your major and introduce its connections to political and social philosophy. In this paragraph, with a 1-sentence thesis statement, then explain and analyze the 2 to 4 most relevant issues in political and social philosophy for your major. What are the issues? Why are they important to your major? How does having an understanding of these issues make you a better whatever major? Conclude your essay with a 3/4 to 1-page statement on your understanding of the connections between your major and political philosophy. Right? The short version, what's the point of your major and how does it connect to any of this stuff? Right? For all of your smaller papers, your conclusion should be focused on this. You should just start thinking about it next week. Just start thinking about it, right? Late work, you can read it yourself, but I'm not into it. Occasionally it happens. Occasionally. All right. Grading scale. Yeah, let's talk about this a little bit. This is sort of a conceptual grading scale. A C is you did exactly what I asked you to do, and you did a pretty good job. All right. Nothing more, nothing less. If you want more than a C, I need more than the minimum. And I'll be very direct about the comparative document essays. The minimum on the comparative document essays, and it's in here someplace and I can't find it quickly, is 6 documents. References to 6 documents. If I see 6 documents in there, you did what I asked and you didn't do anything more. If you're hoping for more than a C, I probably need to see more than 6 documents in those things. Yeah, I don't need to see all of them, but you can think 7 or 8, right? Over the top a little bit. Academic honesty. We all learn not to look at our neighbor's paper in kindergarten. Um, yeah, expect the maximum penalty if I have to waste my time dealing with this, right? Do your own work. We're here in college to figure stuff out. The whole point of the class is to figure out what the point of your major is and how it connects to this. Um, why you would use someone else's work for that, I don't know. But it occasionally happens. Attendance, be here. All right. It's a big deal. It's class participation. However, I understand things come up. Keep me in the loop. Don't get into bad habits. All right, let's keep moving. How much time have I used? 15 minutes. That's not bad. Oh, some of these few matters of courtesy needs to be changed a little bit, right? The big matter of courtesy that I really want from y'all is have y'all in a space that you're going to be distraction free from, where you're not going to have roommates going back and forth, where you can actually work, where we can actually talk, right? And to actually be engaged in the class with your cameras on, your microphone ready to be turned on, your work and everything set up, but just being respectful of everyone else's time, that we came here to work for an hour and 15 minutes twice a week. Show up ready to do it. Kids in my classroom. All right. Back when it was in a classroom. If you got kids wandering around your house, I guess we can talk about that. Disability accommodations, FERPA statements. I don't know if any of that stuff's necessary anymore. Not that I don't have accommodations for disability. I don't know they're necessary on the syllabus anymore. But if for whatever reason you need some sort of a disability accommodation, let me know. And then we get into our schedule. The schedule itself is subject to change, but I'm not really foreseeing that happening. I'm going to try to stick with this. Okay. That's pretty much the syllabus. Let's go through the schedule just to go through a few assignments real quick. Just to make sure that we understand, what's up. We'll do it backwards, actually. We'll do it in reverse order. So your formal essay is due, it can't be, we're not coming to class the 6th and the 7th, so one of those is wrong. So the professor will fix the syllabus, right, on when your essay's due. The week before that, you'll have a peer review of your formal essay. That'll be right before Thanksgiving break. And then, as you can see, in each week, I'm just going to go back up to the top one. I've got, so starting week 2, here comes your first thought piece, right? So group A through question mark, first day of class, we'll sort out who this group is, right? Write a 500 to 1,000 word essay. I'm thinking 250 pages a word, okay? Comparing how your assigned or your chosen documents shed light on one of the following questions. What would human life be like in a state of nature? Or is there a difference between male and female nature? So you pick one of those questions, whichever one you think is most interesting. You take the documents you've been assigned and the documents you picked, and keep in mind, sometimes these aren't the perfect ones, right? You may need to answer this question about male and female nature, but not necessarily using any of this social place of men and women, right? You've just kind of conceptually working things out. You provide your answer based on the documents. You've got a total of 6 required readings. I expect to see all 6 of them in there in some way, shape, or form in order to hit that C mark. Throw in another one. Maybe that gets you into the B range. Depends on how well they're used, right? And that seems simple enough. And then the next week, the next group has a writing assignment. So let's say your last name begins with an A. Last name begins with an A. You got a writing assignment week 2. You got a writing assignment week 4. You've got a writing assignment week 6. You get the idea. If you want to write an essay on a week that you're not required to, we'll work that as extra credit. We will not have it count for 0, so you don't get to pick, which week you want to write. But if you want to do all the ones that you're assigned and throw in a few others, we will work those for extra credit. In fact, a few years ago, I had a student in the class who didn't earn really higher than a B and usually a B minus on any assignment, but they wrote something every week, and it was really clear they read a ton, they had thought a ton. It was hard to deny them an A when it came time, for the final grade. So you can think about that. And as far as other things go with the course, that seems like enough for you guys to ask questions about in class. I mean, maybe this saved us 20 minutes, and now you guys say, okay, well, what did you mean by this? Or you didn't even talk about this other thing. And I'm just trying to find a way to make it more interactive in class. So that's the deal. Looking forward to class. Talk to you soon.